get from us?
Jesus is speaking to his disciples on the night before the cross. They're troubled, confused about where he's going and what happens next. He's comforting them, not teasing them with real estate. My Father's house. In Scripture, the Father's house points first to God's dwelling place, his presence, his household, his family. In Jewish thought, the house wasn't just a building, it was the entire family estate. To belong to the house meant you belonged to the Father. In other words, there is room. You're not barely tolerated. You're not squeezed in. You're not temporary. I go to prepare a place. This isn't Jesus swinging a hammer in heaven. The preparation happens through the cross, resurrection, and ascension. He prepares the place by making the way. I am the way, the truth, and the life. John 14, verse 6. Jesus isn't just promising where we'll go someday. He's revealing where we belong now. Saved people don't just get forgiveness. They get family access. Children in the Father's house. That's comfort you can live on. When Jesus overturns the tables and drives out the merchants, Matthew 21:12-13, Mark 11 verses 15 to 17, Luke 19 verses 45 to 46, John 2 verses 13 to 17. He's not losing his temper. He's acting as Lord of the house. What was really happening? The money changers and animal sellers weren't just doing business. They had turned the court of the Gentiles into a marketplace. The very space where the nations were supposed to pray had been crowded out by profit. So Jesus quotes Isaiah 56 verse 7, "My house shall be called a house of prayer for all nations." Jeremiah 7 verse 11, "But you have made it a den of thieves." That's not random scripture. It's covenant accusation. Why the tables mattered. Money tables, corrupt access to worship. Merchants, exploiting devotion. Location, blocking Gentiles from drawing near. Jesus isn't anti-sacrifice, he is the sacrifice. He's anti-anything that stands between God and people. The prophetic act. This wasn't just cleanup. It was a judgment sign. By cleansing the temple, Jesus is declaring, the house belongs to the Father. The leaders failed their stewardship. A greater temple is standing right there. John 2 verses 19 to 21. When Jesus says, "My Father's house shall be called a house of prayer," and then later redefines the temple as his body, and then Paul says we are now that temple, the question naturally becomes, what kind of prayer belongs here? The temple Jesus cleared was full of visible, audible, regulated activity, but it lacked true access. That tells us something. Paul later calls this kind of prayer mystery language. We speak the wisdom of God in a mystery. 1 Corinthians 2 verse 7. He that speaketh in an unknown tongue speaketh not unto men, but unto God. 1 Corinthians 14 verse 2. Mystery prayer fits the new temple. If the temple is now internal, then prayer also moves inward. Paul says, "The Spirit itself maketh intercession for us with groanings which cannot be uttered." Romans 8 verse 26. That is not synagogue prayer. That is not marketplace prayer. That is spirit to God communication, beyond intellect, beyond performance. Why the porch had to be cleared? Mystery prayer requires quiet access, yielded control, dependence on the Spirit, no spectators, no profit motive. A noisy, commercial porch kills that. So Jesus clears the outer clutter because the inner work matters most. Paul completes the picture. Paul never sends believers back to a building to pray. He says, "Pray without ceasing." In the Spirit, with the inner man. A clean way to say it, this will preach. The old temple was about approaching God. The new temple is about hosting God. And the primary activity of that temple is spirit-led, mystery prayer. Not to be seen, not to be managed, but to commune. When Jesus said, "This is the temple, and it is for prayer," he wasn't pointing us to louder services. He was pointing us to deeper communion.